Hi guys, this is Holistic Health with Harry, and today I'm joined across the pond, I think, somewhere in America. I don't even know because we're getting to know him here.
I'm Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Okay, I was worried when I said that. I was like, please, Sanj, don't be in the UK. I wasn't sure. I was like, anyway, Sanj, man, how are you doing
Yeah,
today?
I'm doing very well, man. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for getting me on your platform here, and let's have a
Yeah.
conversation, man. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, so we know each other
Yeah.
primarily because everyone has their own journeys, their own stories and masteries, but we know we've been connected to the universe through the root products and the root, which I'm just blown away, but actually blown away by
Yeah.
the power of this stuff. And I have to reach out to people like yourself that feel the same way because I
Yeah.
feel like you're my tribe now. So how did you get involved with
Oh, yeah.
what brought you to the root?
Yeah, so I got involved. I know a buddy of mine named Caleb. He's involved, and I know him for years. And it was actually through a cryptocurrency program that he offers. So I was one of his clients. Yada yada yada. I personally was taking a skate liver oil. So skate is a type of a fish. So, and that was really the reason I was taking that was to detoxify and open up the pineal gland. And he had a post by chance, and this was I think early December of last year. And he had a post that I came across that was saying, okay, I got something to decalcify the pineal gland. And you don't really see too many posts about the pineal gland. And when I saw that, I reached out to him and I said, well, you know what are you taking? And I'll tell you what I'm taking. And he shared what he was taking. And, when I started looking into it, I'm like, zeolites, this and that. The more research I did, and I said, you know what, get me on a call with the owner here, and he did it right away.
Wow.
And I jumped on a call with Clayton, and he took the time out to really explain. And I think the next day or the day after, a couple of days later, I signed up and I got my first bottle. So mid-Jan is when I received the product of this year, so 2021. So I've been on it for almost 3.5, 4 months roughly. And I'll tell you, man, it does what it does, and it does many, many things. It's not just specifically for the pineal gland, but I definitely notice big effects there. So they do have the 3 products. I'm currently taking all 3. We just got the latest one in a couple of days ago, but
bastard, I haven't got
so that's kind of where I'm at.
UK hasn't got it still. Some of us. I'm wait till next week. I'm so jealous of everyone. Like, fuck.
Yeah, I know. UK was touting the horn there, saying, "Hey, we get overnight deliveries."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Sorry. For what do you call it? The root brand, their clean slate, and I guess it backfired on everybody.
Yeah, man.
No, that's all good though. But yeah.
Yeah, it's powerful that the 3 that you're on and like all the synchronicities that have led us to this moment in time, because I do believe that, I mean, I've messed about with a few supplements, maybe not as many as everyone, but I can't, I just don't know anything like the clean slate one. They're all amazing, but the Restore I haven't tried yet. I'm super excited. The Zero I fucking love, but the clean slate one to me is just, I can feel it in my system. One drop and it just goes in. I feel like, do you know what, Sandra? I want to talk to you a little bit about you did a post on the alpha male. You did a meme. It was a cool meme, but I got reminded that could be I got reminded of that today, synchronicities, because I ran out. Yeah, look at that.
I'll tell you.
So you write alpha.
So I'll tell you why.
Yeah, tell us, man.
And behind that, it's 2 languages. One's a translation in English, and I'll read it out to you if you want me to. But so I know, and speaking with Clayton, we know that the way that they process this and the way that this is created and how zeolites, because it's a crystal. Okay, so when we go deep into crystals, we know that our intention syncs with the consciousness of that crystal. For people that understand it, they get it. If you don't want to understand it, that's a whole different conversation, right? But when you understand that, then you might as well take it benefit of that in regards to setting an intention and really having the product work for you, tenfold or whatever fold you want to call, right? And so what I put here is basically I got 2 things. On the front I got alpha male, so just having the qualities of that specific term there. And then on the back of that, so I belong, my parents are from they're from India, the state of Punjab. Okay. So their faith and our faith is we call it religion, but I don't want to really like to say religion. It's more of a way of being or a way of living, which is Sikhism. So Sikhs, Sikh. Okay, maybe you're familiar with Sikhs.
The guy, of course I am. The original, do no harm, and they were ancient warrior race of people that believed in growing their hair long and their beards and all that stuff.
That's right.
I love it.
That's right. Yeah. So you'll see them wearing turbans and mainly, right? So basically, we have a living guru, which means a living teacher, which is in the form of what to the naked eye, it looks like a book, but it's not really a book. It's got energy, it's got a vibration, it's got frequency. And the words, when you recite them, they have energy and vibrancy and frequency. So, it's in the Gurmukhi language, which Sikhs know how to recite. They're true Sikhs anyways. I myself am still lagging, but we're following, but in the sense, I'll read it out and I'm going to do the translation of what the intention I put.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Prabhu ka Simran Rid Sid No Nid. Okay, so that's the Gurmukhi version. It says, in the remembrance of God are wealth, miraculous spiritual powers, and the 9 treasures. Okay, so 9 treasures, meaning the 9 chakras, and the 10th one is the gate that the soul leaves through at the end. Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Then we goes into the second sentence, which is Prabhu ka Simran Gyan Dhyan Tat Buddh. So, which means in the remembrance of God or knowledge, meditation, and the essence of wisdom. So that's what I got on my drops. And since I've said that, I'm gonna go ahead and pop 10 of these.
Yeah. Well, I'll synergistically take some with you, bro, because I got a new pack today. I got a new bottle, so that's good.
Sweet. So there you go. I got my 10.
I love the taste of it too. I actually love the taste. It's really amazing. See what taste.
So I'm still on the old formula. I got a bunch of bottles that I got about. Yeah. So I haven't even tapped into the new formula yet. But
wow, and I've not had many experiences because I only came from the new ones before the old ones. So Clayton said, and other you guys said it's still powerful. The old ones, that speaks volumes. You're getting great results with the old one. Wow.
Well, I mean, it has nothing to do with the any less powerful. It's just the only thing is that I think anyways, because he's added some trace minerals, and the trace minerals really are to assist in delivery mechanism. But I get that, right? But I mean, this is pretty powerful stuff still on its own. So I'm happy with it. And getting the Restorer. So I've been on the Restorer, the gel, the sachet here for a few days as well.
And how many are you taking? Are you waiting to? What's your protocol with it? Everyone's got a different one.
So I'm on it. I'm taking one a day, and I'm gonna do that for a couple months. And I'll tell you why, because I had a little bit of a life-changing experience almost 2 years is going to be now. I had a really bad back injury. So herniated disc in 2 spots, L4, L5, and then L5S1 lower back. And that herniated disc, that when it bulges out, is pressing on a nerve. And that nerve is actually the nerve that sends signals to the feet, ankles, and the calves. So I'm still like, I mean, when that injury happened, I was in the acute in the hospital for 3 weeks. I came out of there. I decided not to go for surgery because I just didn't want to go that route. I wanted to try my own stuff first. And I came home in a wheelchair, and a few weeks of that, and then I did my own yada yada yada. I went through a bunch of stuff that I did. I created my own little schedules and my own treatments that I was going through, and I'm good now. But the only issue is still having is numbness in the feet, and so that numbness is still there because of the fact that bulge is still there, and it's releasing. But until it's fully released, that nerve is not going to be able to send the signal. But what this does is it's such an anti-inflammatory. So I'm trying to just take as much as I can right now without overloading. To see if I can give me some really anti-inflammatory, and especially in that area, because I know weight has an issue to do with it. I'm overweight, it is what it is, and I know that has an issue to do with it. So multiple factors, but wherever we can, help and throw some stuff in there, right?
I like that, and that's a great story. Do you has that imbalanced you in the body and the brain? That kind of what does that mean day to day for the situation with the dumb feet?
Day to day, really, what it's really done for me is where I'm kind of messed up is the ability to be flexible. So like and that's really like from my knees down, really, right? Like my my ankles, like I can't run, I can walk, but if I try to run, I'm like it's I don't have that jump in one of my ankles, right? That's what it is. So the one of the ankles is fine, and the other ankle is it's what they call kind of like a flat foot. So you can't, I don't have that bounce there. It's coming back, but it's very slowly coming back, because nerves, man, once you start any type of damage happens to a nerve, it takes time to repair that. You know what I mean? And everything's heading in the right direction. I mean, I'm way better than what I was, so I'm pretty confident that I'll return back to 100%. And I know, I've done trials and tribulations, of whatever, right? Like I used to have pretty bad habits, drinking this and that quite heavily if I wanted to, and so when you kind of and that's what it really came to me for. I mean, I know that this injury happened because I was heading in the wrong path, and it really kind of gave me a chance to slow down. It could put me at a dead stop, really, but And then, you know, and I can see, and I'm grateful for that experience, even though a lot of people might be bitching and go into depression about something like that might happen to them, but I can actually see where it was a benefit to me, and I'm okay with it, right? And yeah, so it's, you know, I had a lot of things that I got to do during that downtime, you know, if you want to call it that, but I had a lot of knowledge come my way, and I had a lot of time to put some of that to work. So good things came out of it, man. 100% can't complain.
Yeah, I love it. I love your attitude too. It's like almost like I feel like for you too, from what you're saying, that what changes people and gets them into that lifestyle that we need, because the matrix is so what's the word for it? The conditioning of the matrix, the lies out there. There's so many. You need some kind of event sometimes to wake you up. And I had this event, you had this event, and a lot of people watching this had this event. Sometimes it's not an event, but sometimes it is an event like that that really does begin the process of. And I really do feel that. I mean, I know we are biased, but beyond the bias, I mean, when you're on the most powerful products in the world, you give yourself the best chance to heal the quickest. Like, you know, you really do.
And I'll tell you, Harry, it's funny that you mentioned that it's not always a big impact, but what it is, we get subtle messages. If we choose to ignore those, then eventually you're gonna get humbled, and you're gonna get humbled with the wrath, and that's what happens, right? You know what I mean? So one of my advice is, if you're getting, you know, people out there, if they know internally they're headed down the wrong path and they're getting these subtle messages to kind of steer themselves in the right direction, I say go ahead and do that now before, you know, having pain as your biggest motivator. So, you know, you really, you know, you wanna listen to these. You listen to yourself. You know everybody knows what's really good for them, what's not. So what I will say is start learning to listen to that voice, and rather than just saying, you know, shut the F up and get out of here and numb it up with booze and alcohol and other intoxicants, or whatever you want to do, right? So and I'll tell you the other thing we didn't get a chance to speak about is this product right here, this the capsules, and I've been taking these pretty much daily since, and I'll tell you, these I love this stuff, and when you start taking these, then you realize that, you know, all these other, you know, things that people take, like intoxicants and all this kind of stuff, if you ever had any experience with that stuff, or even with alcohol, you know, you're just like, you don't need that to feel good anymore. You balance your dopamine and your serotonin, melatonin, right? It's that, like, you know, we know about this, right? So, you know, it's that connection, and once it starts balancing. And what I've actually had the opportunity to do is really go into very deep meditations.
Yes, Penny was talking about that. So you take it for, I mean, it does balance it. By the way, so talk about that. Why do it for the meditation, and also how many you take. What's your protocol with the zero ins too? Because everyone's on different stuff with that too.
Right. I started with 2, and just I don't do it twice a day. I only do a one dose, right? And but now I started taking. Then I went up to like 4 at one time, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me see what's a right dose for me. You know, because you got to test it, right? And within 3 is where my sweet spot is. 3 in the morning. On an empty stomach, you know, like water. I do my 1.5 liters in the morning of straight water, and basically I'll take a couple supplements that I want during that time, right? And then right after that, I'll go back. I'll go into a typically an hour meditation, an hour and 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, right? Wow, and when I say meditation, everybody's got their own ways. I'll tell you what mine is. So I like I'll throw on a set of headphones and I'll put on it's an audio that I kind of follow, and it takes you through 3 series. So the first 45 minutes pretty much are just all breathing. So it's 3 different breathing techniques that I go through, and breathing, man, you know, when you go into deep breathing, you oxygenate the body and everything. It takes you to a whole different level. You can control your thoughts through such a whole, you know, you got the experience with this stuff, right? And then the last 20 minutes roughly is what I do. There's a visualization in there, and then there's a mantra that I recite, and mantras. So there's specific ones you can do, and the one I do basically, is unique to me, that I choose to do, and once again, it's from our Sikh faith. It's something that I recite, and really it gives me a different vibration, and that's what really allows me to connect to a really higher level. We believe God is one, and it's in all of us, and it connects us all, so we are all one. That's my belief, right? And
or is it the actual truth, what you just said?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
the
Or
actual
the
truth.
actual truth, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's for us to learn. That's our path here.
Mm,
We can't push that on nobody. I don't push it on nobody. Topic of conversation comes up once in a while, and if somebody doesn't want to hear it, I don't push it, right? Like it's okay, right? And
mm,
but at the end of the day, yeah. So that's my meditation, and that really sets the day for me. Then
yeah.
I go about my day, right? And whatever needs to be done. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with these three products. And
Yeah.
maybe I'll switch the routine down the road. Who knows? But right now, this is what's working for me. I'm at 10 drops twice a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do one or two, a couple doses more here and there if I feel like it. Sometimes I'll do one or two doses less. So there's nothing set in stone. Go with the flow, right?
Yeah, your skin's looking great as well. I think a lot of it maybe is due to the clean slate. I've noticed that with mine. The hair and skin glows
Yeah, I
great.
mean, yeah, I had a lot of issues with skin, and that was basically because I used to be a smoker as well. Like when
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm,
So and
yeah.
only when I've been drinking, but when you're drinking, that's so whatever it is, right? So that's those toxins start coming out of your skin, and if you're not eliminating it, so that's another thing I noticed when
Mm,
I started taking the clean slate.
mm,
Yeah, right away I noticed just the ability to have a lot more energy and focus and clarity, right?
yeah.
So that clarity is, and now we know this, the more and more we take it and the more studying we do towards this product, we realize how many toxins, especially on the nano level, which is crossing the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
Not, somebody was asking me, like,
Mm,
wait, well, what about the powder? I'll just take the powder. I'm like, the thing with the powder is
yeah.
it's the form that it's in. Yeah, it's good if you take it. It'll clean up whatever's it comes in contact in your gut,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
good luck getting it out of your body. Good
Right.
luck getting it to crossing the blood-brain barrier, and it's not formulated in the way that Clayton and Christina have formulated this. This is just such a superior product, and there's
Uh,
nothing out there.
agree.
And
Yeah.
when yeah,
Yeah.
you know that, Harry, right? Like we come across, and the funny thing is, I actually did do some.
Mm,
I didn't want to just go blindly with root in the beginning.
mm,
There's a competitor, and I won't name the competitor, but
mm.
I went in and I talked to their formulator, and then I called Clayton. I go, this guy? He's like, yeah. He goes, I know him very well. Then he goes, let me tell you something, Sanj. He goes, this is my area of expertise. This is my niche. And he goes, I
Yeah.
know this industry for many, many years. And
Yeah.
all these guys you're talking about, he goes, these guys have basically ripped us. They tried to rip off our formulas, but they can't do anything because these guys are patented, and they're the best at what they do, right? So, and
Yeah.
just the, and
Yeah.
and the fact that he was so blunt with me, and he didn't, he had nothing to hide, and these other guys, they were giving me the runaround, and I could tell
And these
when
were
people
the other
give you the
guys were the
runaround.
founders of other companies, or the head guys of other companies with the zeolite space, because there's not that many in the zeolite space, is there? We can count on our fingers probably how many there are.
Exactly, and there might be a lot of zeolite products,
Mm,
but these zeolite drops in liquid form, there's only
yeah.
a handful, like you said, and even then, they're just claiming that they can't back it up the way that Clayton can back it up, right? So
Yep.
yeah, so we got we got the right stuff, and
We on the right
and
stuff, bro. Yeah.
yeah, we're lucky, bro. We're lucky, and
Yeah.
now it's really a time, and it's kind of a duty actually, and a responsibility for us to share, and and that's really what it comes down to at this point. That's why
Yeah.
I love to get involved and
Yeah.
with anybody that wants to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I really like, and I really want to re-emphasize the point that you brought up here that, and I really like the angle you come from because I'm okay with the sharing aspect. I've already covered that base of people that trust in me. But if there's people that are
Yeah.
small like yourself that, but you felt an obligation, I can't remember if we did this off air or we did it on air, but you said either one or
Yeah.
two that you felt an obligation because it's so powerful, the products,
Yeah.
to a burning kind of, I don't know, intuition, whatever you want to call it, to say it to other people, to give the message so they can get on the same stuff as you. And by the way, I don't think you was thinking about the money side of it, although there is
No,
money
no.
involved in it. That was
Well,
thinking
there is a bank account I'm talking about, but it's a karmic bank account, and that's the real one that's going to count at the end of the day, right?
yeah.
And trust me, we can all use that balance. You know what I mean? Who knows? And unintentionally, we might have done some wrongs, when we were younger. So those things are going to still have to, check's going to it's got to balance at the end of the day, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the karmic bank account side of things. Obviously, the money is good. That's I'm not going to say no to that. But
Right.
obviously, that's money is always going to be a motivation because we're living in the realm of money, and as long as we don't money is needed. Money is nor good nor evil. It's a tool, right? It's just a vehicle. So it's our attachment to it that really kind of screws us up, right? And ego, if we attach egotism to it, and so that's there's a fine line there. But money, I'll say 100% is nor good nor evil. It's needed, and it's I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's how you use it too. Like it's how you use it. You can have a lot of money and use it wrongly, or you can have a lot of money and use it rightly. So at the end of the day.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. So that comes with a sense of that's power, and money is power at the end of the day, and it comes with responsibility how you handle that power, right? So that's why, and I've seen that why everybody is not meant to have a lot of money because they can't handle it, and they'll really just do a disservice to themselves. They'll kind of.
Well, that's actually true, Sanj. Think of lottery winners in the UK, and I'm sure in your country too, and around the world. I've heard many stories in the papers. They're poor, they win the lottery, and then all of a sudden, after they've won the lottery, they're like they lose it, and they have very quickly, and they don't, because what you said, it's like a skill. And I think that the problem with making and not having it and having it all of a sudden is you don't build the skill up. So what I'm saying is it's nice to build your money base up to rich if you want, but slowly, so that you can get you can assimilate how to deal with it and handle it, because it's a whole different realm, the money realm, of how to handle it, to use it wisely.
Exactly. It's a frequency, right? So you got to be on the level, right? So I mean, when you're ready, everything will come to you. It's just a matter of if you got negative intentions and say, well, if I had this much money, I'd do this, blah blah. And if your intentions are wrong, you got to understand that we're all entangled, every single person that's on planet Earth. So you can't just say, okay, I want it for myself, but then 100 other people get messed up because of your actions, right? So the creator is looking over everybody's good fortune or whatever you want to call it, right? So you can't be selfish in this game.
I mean, literally
today,
today,
you're gonna learn the hard way.
Yeah, today on one of my posts I did yesterday, one guy got triggered by what I said about clean slate being the most powerful advanced chelator, which is what Clayton says, and I 100% agree with him, not just because he says it, because I've experienced it, but he got triggered, and in the end, he didn't trigger me, but one bit I remember him saying in this long post was, it's a money-making scam, the zeolites, and I thought, no, it's fucking not. It's really not, man. If you knew that it was made with love, intention, if you tended the chords with Clayton spoke to you, speaks to us, so you can do interviews with us personally. If you look at Christina, her interview, Instagrams, the synchronicities of how they met each other, you can't make that claim because it's not true. You just don't understand the truth.
Well, and I say genuinely, the only people that have the right to, talk that smack or talk that, make any claims towards other people that have actually tried it. So if this person has not even gone ahead and tried it, and how are you gonna knock something at the end of the day, right? So I mean, even those people, I guarantee you, the fact that he's that obsessed with it going to the point of knowing openly saying what he's saying and exposing himself and putting himself on there, he must really believe that. So that's his own. His own attitude and his own experiences from who knows what. So that's and that's okay too, because usually those are the people that will come around, and then at one point or another they're gonna get corrected and they're gonna try it out. So there's no such thing as negative, feedback. Let it be, right? Even if somebody wants to dog it,
right? Because what's come with that? Now we've had a conversation, and like this could help other people with information from what he said. So you're right. There's no negative. From that.
There is no negative, right? So I mean, everything is good, and I think at a balance at the end of the day, we can't be just there's not just always just a hoorah. There's going to be something, and some of the things are like, well, if people are not drinking enough water with it, like, so this, there's a factors with this, right? So you have to understand that you can't just knock it back and do your thing, right? Like,
by the way,
you got to be very responsible.
When you started it, did you get, because I've heard stories, and I've not experienced it on one drop, I was fine, but I've heard stories about one drop freaking people out, and I get it because they're too toxic. Did that happen to you? Or did you just rush into it?
No, well, I'll tell you what. I kind of I had a conversation with Clayton guys, and they're like, "Don't." I'm like, I'm a big guy. I'll do 10 right away, right? They're like, "Don't do that." They're like, "Just start with a little bit," right? So I think it was like 2 or 3 days. I did 2 drops, 3 drops, and then I came home from was at some function, and I had a couple of glasses of alcohol, and I came home. I'm like, I go, what do you mean? I go, let me see this stuff, right? And I'm looking at it, and I knocked back, I think it was like 14, 15 drops. And it was at the end of the night, and I turned around and I went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night, like around 1:32, 2 a.m. And like with this intense pain in my stomach. And I'm like, you know, and I get up and I go to the washroom, and so I'm sitting on the toilet like 2 a.m, right?
Mm.
And and my buzz just coming down, and all of a sudden, like I, I had like this constipation type of, like I'm trying to go but I can't go, right?
Whoa. Okay.
And when I'm pushing, all of a sudden, like I get my head starts spinning, and I black out. So I black out, and and I fall back to the side, and I'm sitting on the toilet now, and there's maybe about 1.5 feet, 2 feet distance between the countertop, right, where the sink and all that is.
Mm.
And I wake up and I find myself in the middle with my freaking arm pressing down on that toilet, fucking, the flush button, right?
Okay.
And I'm just sweating, and I'm sweating, and I look at myself in that moment. But I'll tell you, man, in that split second moment, and and it may be me overthinking it at the time, but I was like, man, I challenge clean slate. I go, this shit's powerful. I thought I was gonna die, so I was ready, and I accepted that. I go, I go, this is it. Because I was like, falling over on the toilet. I'm like, this is it, and I luckily, I woke up. Who knows how long after? Probably not that long after, but still, I woke up and I made myself back, got myself back into my bed, and literally 2-3 minutes later, another gurgle, right, and then I get up and I make myself, I went to the washroom, and then literally I had about 3 or 4
Poos.
movements, right?
I mean, yeah.
And like big movements. And when I came and I laid down and I went to sleep, and I woke up in the morning feeling fucking good as hell, really good.
Whoa.
And I'll tell you, the funny thing is the intention that I went in with it. So this is another thing. And when I took those drops, I'm like, I go, my intention at that time was weight loss, right? So I'm like, so I was picturing myself, with abs and this and that.
Right, take loads of drops to get thin. To get thin, yeah, I see.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'm like, fuck, I just lost 15 pounds overnight. So that was a funny story, and I shared that with Clayton, and he couldn't stop laughing. And since then, it's just kind of become a little story, right? So
that's crazy. I love that experience. So that, and the bowel movements, I mean, that's underrated, because they say, and I do agree, the heavy metals and toxins do come out in the urine, but also, like you said, and I've heard other people, when they take a lot, it comes out in the bowel movement. So it must be the toxins are coming out in the bowels too, like not just one area.
100%, man. Like, which way, right? So water, so you're pissing it out, you're shitting it out, and the best, if you really can, is sweat it out, right? Also, and I'm limited in my ability, but I mean, I can get on a recumbent exercise bike, and I can bring my heartbeat up, and I can sweat it out that way as well. So there's certain, and and I'm a big believer in saunas. Jump in a sauna, if it's wintertime and you can't really find, you can't really, sometimes you want to just go lazy style, but so saunas are awesome. You jump in the sauna, you sweat it out, you feel like $1,000,000. So there's those 3 methods I'm a true believer in, and really assisting this in getting the toxins out of your body. And you notice it right away after your session, whatever, if you're working out or if you're in the sauna, you notice right away that something just lightened, right? So
yeah, this is so powerful. And I was going to ask you a bit, like, because Sandy talks about how it unlocks the true self, and I'm going to bring it back to the alpha male thing. The reason why I brought that to your attention is because I had run out yesterday. I didn't have any, and today I got a new bottle. And about a couple of hours before we're talking now, I went out. I got my new bottle today. Went out, took 5 drops, and went outside. And at some moment when I was walking outside, I had this feeling like I feel like an alpha man. And then I tugged it back to you, and I thought, and then I tugged it back now as we're talking to what Sandy says, how the clean slate unlocks the true self. And I wondered why I got that alpha male thought. And I don't even know the answer to that, Sanj. Maybe it's the heavy metals and the toxins block your mind from your capabilities of what you actually are. When you unblock them, you start becoming the alpha male. Because I didn't have the bottle thing like you got, so I wasn't even thinking of alpha male. I wasn't even thinking of that stuff. I don't know, but I just think it does unlock it anyway. The bottle would make it more, obviously, but I feel like it does unlock your true potential, like the true who you really are, like Sandy says. Clean slate.
Yeah, man. I mean, everything right now, bro, is rigged against us to keep us from our true nature, as men, and the reason for that is because these corporations and there's agendas out there that don't want people out there that to really rebel and stand up for themselves. They want people to be submissive, right? And that's included in so fast foods. We know that they put stuff in there. We know our city waters. Stuff is in there, and we know there's so many other things that are just created. And so whatever, they're doing their thing. But at the end of the day, fine, if that's the chessboard, and where the chess pieces, how we decide to move forward is on us. So we do our things, right? So we got our stuff here to counter that. So there's always a remedy in nature. That's the one beautiful thing. And even zeolites, if you think about it, when it's that volcanic ash, it was created as a balancer and as a remedy to the toxins and all this kind of, from ashes and all this
coming out of the
stuff,
volcano,
right?
the toxins coming out of the volcano has the
Yeah.
remedies inside that. Plus, but I look at clean slate a little differently. As it is nature magnified, because we've definitely got to factor in Christina and the fractionation. So it's not like, first I need to cleanse it, and I don't even know, if I'm being honest, Sanj, what exact. I don't think Christina. It's too complicated for us, even us to understand what they're doing with the fractionation, the polarization, to magnify it. So I look at it as nature, but magnified, and that's why I think it's the most outstanding zeolite. It's not just a natural product; it's a natural product using smart science from people that God knows have spent 20 years in a laboratory studying this shit. God bless Christina and Clayton, how they met and all that stuff, and they created this amazing thing for us. And it will always be, in my mind, the best zeolite. I don't think there's going to be one that's going to be better than this. No way.
Well, you know what? And at the end of the day, like I said, even there, like Christina and Clayton, they vibe at a consciousness that's at a higher level, right? So that's why they can tap into that knowledge. I mean, knowledge is everywhere. It's the knowledge is always going to be there. It's a matter of, can you tap into that, right? So whoever can tap into that, they're downloading that knowledge, and it's really just being shared with people. I think the timing is everything, right? So we go through ages. We know this, right? Like, there's what is it, golden age, bronze age, silver age, and we see
I think we're coming up now, happened. We're coming up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what, it's and when we're talking about these ages, they go in the thousands of years, right? So it's not even like, for us, this lifetime is a whole different, it's like whatever, right? But knowing these cycles and knowing that things happen, we know that it's part of nature, right? So the reason all these products are now being coming to the surface, and even like with cryptocurrencies and stuff, like people have their own beliefs about it, like but the more and more we get involved with the stuff now, I'm realizing that there may be a need for this, at the end of the day, right? But that's a whole different conversation. To get back on topic here, like we said, this stuff is there as a need, and especially like with I don't want to say it, but the shots everybody's getting now, and and the shit that's in there, right? So fine.
Isn't it funny, Sanj, how that this has come about? Clayton reminded us on the ambassador call, or was it yesterday on the Zoom, that it was created during COVID. This company, a lot of the others have been out there for ages. This is very unusual for a company that comes. So there comes the COVID, the whole thing that's going on now, and right at that moment, this company's created. To me, I was looking at it just as Clayton probably looks at it, and Christina, this is like a sign of like the godliness intervening with some of the most powerful supplements you've ever seen at the right time. There's the trauma and there's the solution, as you said, with the vaccine.
And and I bring it back to nature. When nature does its own things in its own ways, right? So that's the remedy at the end of the day. So soon as vaccines started going mainstream, this is really when roots took off. I mean, and Clayton guys have known about this for years. They know the power of this, and maybe it wasn't needed as on that level at the time or whatever, So, but at the same time, like now it's taken off. And I still say, the traction hasn't even, like, we haven't even
no, we barely started. We're like the avant-garde.
Once that push happens,
me and you are the avant-garde. We're like the first timers. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? And I appreciate this time, because you know what? Guess what? We get more time listening to Christina and Clayton, and as much as they might, I mean,
dude, if Sanj, you thought this, like in 10, 20 years time, they'll look back. Even us will be look back as we was the first timers with Clayton. They'll look back at the Zoom calls and go, "Oh, look, there's my face. There's Clayton. There's Harry."
Yeah, exactly. Right. And who knows? I mean, who knows where this is gonna take. Like our own circles, like it's gonna this is the thing, one of the reasons I got this alpha male on here is to make sure we step up and we become leaders, and we really go forward, even when we're getting attacked and pressure being put on us. Doesn't matter, like, keep going, right? And so you don't you got to stand your ground at the end of the day, 100%. When the stuff gets to a certain level, it's taking notice already behind the scenes that we're not even aware of. But when it really gets to a level where it's going to be a daily topic, oh yeah, you can imagine that people are going to be pushing. It's going to be that 50-50 always, right? So you can't expect 100% of people always jumping on board. It's always going to be a split there somewhere, because we're living in duality here. This is the bottom line, right?
I agree with you. I love what you said, man, and I love the fact that I've come into it and I've been pushed into it, and I feel like we're on the right side. And I do feel like that it's going to be extremely popular. Not everybody, because there's always going to be resistance from the people in the health communities, and there's division, but there will be a lot more. This company is going to be absolutely fucking huge, because, as Clayton says, the outcomes. When the outcomes are good, your company blows up. And not even that, beyond that, the money is just, it's great how much is pumped back into little guys like me and you to encourage us as well. Right.
And that right there, what you just mentioned in terms of giving back that much, and there you can tell. And the first thing that Clayton, I remember having a conversation, he said, "I'm not doing this for the money." He goes, "I got money," right? So so he's not. So I mean, Christina's got money. They got money, right? So that's not the motivating factor for them. The motivating factor is to really get this knowledge out there and share it, because of the fact that they know internally that their path, they know their path, so they're lucky that they know it. Not everybody knows their path, you know what I mean? And the people that don't, they sometimes got to go through they got to go through experiences to really understand why they're there. Right?
No, I look at me and you as like the little guys, Sanj. We're the little guys doing the help, and we're doing good work as well in our local small, as Clayton says, everyone's got small spirit.
And Harry, I'll tell you, there's no little guy, big guy. We're all part of the same frequency. It's just a matter of, do we want to ride that frequency, or do we want to go lower, or we want to go higher? Even it's that frequency. Frequency's gonna stay there. When we want to jump on that freaking train, then let's jump on the train, right? But with that, and that's what it really comes down to. That's what I believe, anyways, right? So every single person is capable. There's no big, there's no small. We're all one. We're all equal, right?
True.
And if you want to jump on that frequency, you have the choice. But it's just a matter of, like, you better be ready, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sanj was ready. Okay, so this has been wonderful. I want to give you an opportunity before we end. If there's anything that I didn't ask you, or anything you'd like to say to the audience before we disappear.
It's straight up. I mean, one thing is, I don't really promote this within my own, and this is maybe, I don't know why I don't, right? But within my own personal circles of friends and family, I don't go out of my way to really promote this, unless it's really extended family that I have conversations, like close family that I have conversations with on the daily. Then it's a part of my life, so I talk about it, right? And the reason I don't is because I'm like, you know what? When the timing is right, people start asking, right? So maybe I'll change that now, and maybe I'll start making more posts about it within my own circle. I have more of a plan to really do marketing in a different manner, where it's kind of where I'm planning on sending paid traffic to certain posts and to certain things where I can get exposure to it on a bigger scale now, right? Because I'm really now, I'm at that level, and I'm only, like I said, I'm only 3.5 months on the product, but the amount of life-changing experiences that I'm already having with this, I really want to go high level with this, as much as I think I can anyways, right? So that's where my goal is. But I'm going to start sharing this more and more within my own circle, and hopefully it's not just some okay, well Sanj is talking about this, but reach out and ask me how, don't just sit there and let it go to waste. There's a reason I'm talking about it, and ask me any questions you have. I'm here to answer. If I can't answer them, I'll put you guys in touch with the guys themselves, and they can answer any questions. So other than that, I'm happy that we had this conversation. It was good, and I wish you the best, Harry, always.
Hey man, before we go, I appreciate everything you said, and I relate to it, and I like the fact that you want, that's why I wanted to interview when you said to Clayton you want to step up a little bit, and that's great. I mean, I love everybody if they don't want to step up, and even with me, if I'm being honest, there's things I don't step up with. I should approach of people in my area, physicians, you know what I mean? So even I have my limits that I need to work on too, which I'm conscious of. So just want to say again, I appreciate you, man. This has been great. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. This is Holistic Health with Harry with Sanj on the route. Mainly was on the route. So there we go. Peace, man. Peace, guys.
All right.